Welcome back everyone to VeloView. I'm really excited to have you here with me today because we are going to take a deep dive into one of the most legendary cars in American automotive history, the 1960 Cadillac Eldorado. This isn't just a car, it's a piece of rolling art, a symbol of luxury and ambition from a time when the American automobile industry was at its absolute peak. When you think about what a Cadillac meant in the middle of the 20th century, it was prestige, it was status, it was engineering excellence, and it was a reflection of the optimism of an entire era. The Eldorado was Cadillac's flagship, and the 1960 model captured the essence of that spirit beautifully, sitting right at the crossroads of the outrageous styling of the 1950s and the sleeker sophistication that would define the decade that followed. The first thing that strikes you about the 1960 Cadillac Eldorado is its design. Coming just after the dramatic 1959 models with their towering tailfins and rocket-inspired shapes, the 1960 car took that boldness and refined it. The fins were still there, still tall and unmistakable, but they were smoother, more integrated, less exaggerated, and somehow more elegant. The car stretched well over 18 feet long with a wheelbase of 130 inches, giving it a road presence that was impossible to ignore. The front carried a wide grille with strong horizontal lines that emphasized just how broad and commanding the Eldorado was, and chrome trim sparkled from bumper to bumper, catching the sunlight and making the car look almost jewel-like on the road. This was a vehicle designed to make a statement, and it did so with both confidence and grace. Around the back, those famous fins tapered into a more refined form, and the bullet-style taillights that Cadillac had become known for were still proudly in place. Yet the whole rear end looked cleaner than before, with a balance between boldness and sophistication that many enthusiasts believe represents Cadillac at its best. It was still flamboyant enough to turn heads, but not quite as over the top as the year before, which is why collectors often see the 1960 Eldorado as a sweet spot in Cadillac design, a perfect blend of drama and elegance that has aged far better than some of its wilder predecessors. Inside, the car was just as impressive. Cadillac wanted the Eldorado to be more than just transportation, it was meant to be an experience, a space of comfort and luxury that made its passengers feel special. The seats were broad and deeply cushioned, wrapped in high-quality leather or fine fabrics, and the interior was trimmed with chrome details and soft-touch materials that made it clear no expense had been spared. The dashboard had a symmetrical layout with a sweeping speedometer and easy-to-reach controls, all designed to give the driver a sense of command. Features that were considered cutting-edge at the time were included, such as power windows, power seats, and Cadillac's automatic climate control system called Comfort Control, which allowed passengers to enjoy a consistent temperature no matter the weather outside. For 1960, these were remarkable innovations, and they underscored Cadillac's position as the leader in automotive luxury. Under the hood, the Eldorado was no less impressive. It came with a 390 cubic inch V8 engine that produced around 325 horsepower, delivering effortless acceleration and a refined driving experience. Power was transmitted through Cadillac's Hydra-Matic automatic transmission, which made driving smooth and almost effortless. This was not a car built for raw performance or track speeds, but rather for delivering power in a dignified way. Pressing the accelerator gave you a strong surge forward, but the car remained composed, quiet, and smooth, which was exactly what Cadillac intended. The suspension system was designed to soak up bumps and imperfections, and combined with excellent sound insulation, it created the feeling that you were gliding across the pavement. Driving a 1960 Eldorado was less about excitement and more about serenity, about floating along in comfort while turning heads wherever you went. Exclusivity was another defining aspect of the Eldorado. While Cadillac already had luxurious models in its lineup, the Eldorado sat at the very top, representing the best the company had to offer. It was expensive, it was rare, and it was targeted at buyers who wanted nothing but the finest. Production numbers were relatively low compared to other Cadillac models, which meant that owning one instantly set you apart. Even today, this exclusivity makes the 1960 Eldorado one of the most desirable Cadillacs for collectors, with well-preserved examples fetching high values at auctions. What makes this car even more fascinating is the context of the time it was built. America was entering the 1960s with optimism and energy. The space race was heating up, suburban life was booming, and prosperity was widespread. The Cadillac Eldorado reflected that mood perfectly. Its bold styling, cutting-edge features, and sheer scale embodied the confidence of the American dream. To drive an Eldorado in 1960 was to announce your success, your taste, and your place in society. It wasn't just about getting from point A to point B, it was about being seen, about making a statement every time you pulled up to a restaurant, a theater, or even your own driveway. Of course, the Eldorado wasn't without its flaws. At over 2 tons, it was a massive car, and maneuvering it in tight spaces could be challenging. Its fuel consumption was also enormous, with single-digit miles per gallon being the norm. But at the time, these were not significant drawbacks. Gasoline was cheap, highways were wide, and most owners weren't concerned about efficiency. They cared about luxury, comfort, and prestige, and the Eldorado delivered all three in abundance. Looking back today, the 1960 Cadillac Eldorado is much more than just a classic car. It's a rolling piece of history, a reminder of an era when car design was bold, fearless, and full of imagination. It represents Cadillac at its peak, when the brand was the undisputed king of American luxury. Seeing one on the road or at a show is still an unforgettable experience. Its size, its presence, its sparkling chrome, and those unmistakable fins make it impossible to ignore. And if you're lucky enough to drive or ride in one, you'll experience a kind of comfort and smoothness that modern cars, for all their technology, still struggle to replicate. So there you have it, a deep look at the 1960 Cadillac Eldorado, a car that perfectly captures the glamour, ambition, and optimism of its time. It was bold, it was luxurious, and it remains one of the most admired Cadillacs ever built. If you enjoyed this review and you want to see more classic car deep dives, make sure you hit that subscribe button and become part of the VeloView family. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.